What should you do if you have an idea, but you don't yet know how to bring it to life? Or do you really want to work for yourself but don't understand which niche to choose? Or have you already tried to build your first business but ended up with debts and a negative experience? Or are you looking at successful entrepreneurs and not understanding how they created something that works for years and grows exponentially? So, hello everyone, my name is Anton Vasilenko, I'm 32, and I've decided to launch a YouTube channel. I'm Siva, I'm the co-founder of the True Gamers Brand Network, and I'm also the owner of 4 successful brands. Over the years, I've managed to open more than 450 locations that serve over 600,000 clients every month, in 130 cities around the world. In my business portfolio, there are projects that are already well known and make it into the annual rankings of Forbes, RBC, and other influential business publications. My team and I are ambitious, strong entrepreneurs. We are not afraid of challenges and are ready to promote concepts that will make waves around the world. Just think about the presentation of the spicy esports concept in Abu Dhabi. I've gone through all the stages of development, from choosing a niche to entering the global market. And moreover, I'm doing all of this right now, right here, at this very moment, in real time. And now I want to share a bit more about my experience with you. On this channel, I will talk about business trends, entrepreneurial approaches, and share my vision and valuable insights on how to build a successful company. Perhaps my words will be the catalyst or spark that, in a significant way, changes your perspective on business, your team, even yourself in a significant way. So now let's then go in order. Recently, I have been contemplating about the various ways in which I would act if I had to start everything from scratch. When I don't have an understanding of the niche business processes or experience, but I only have faith that I want to create something on my own, because I'm not a hireable person. And I would definitely start by carefully observing the world around me. Often, an entrepreneur is not one who creates something new, but one who uses existing mechanisms, improves, scales, and analyzes their societal impact. So the very first thing I would definitely start with is a thorough analysis of the world that is around me. And it's really important to learn to listen to yourself, to pay attention to the areas that resonate with you personally, or align with your skills, education, or just your innate abilities. Next, it's about studying trends. With the speed at which technology is developing, it would be foolish to just sit back and study information about large, established markets where there are no technological breakthroughs. So, you need to get out into the world to understand current and future trends. These are all sorts of specialized events, exhibitions, and courses. They serve at any networking event related to your field. So, through communication, you can not only catch insights, but also process them into the system of first steps from which you'll start your journey in entrepreneurship. But it's important not to make the 2 most common mistakes that beginner entrepreneurs often make. The first of these is blind faith in the idea and the future project. Often, the inspired ideas of an entrepreneur ruin their results because they act on emotions rather than on market analysis and business processes. I can compare it to being in love. Are you truly ready to marry a girl in just 2 days without ever seeing her in various different situations, without fully understanding her values and goals, and without even meeting her parents, when you are driven purely by hormones rather than using common sense? Often, the inspiration from an idea and the desire to conquer the business world can be intoxicating. You start buying products or hiring people without studying the niche, without analyzing competitors, without creating a working business plan, without considering negative scenarios, and even without doing customer development. You're just moving on blind faith that your product is brilliant and it's definitely going to succeed. And here are 2 pitfalls. The first is that you can quickly burn out when you face the first difficulties. The second is that you won't get your investments back and you'll be disappointed in the niche. I'll share a recent example of mine. Recently, I got excited about the idea of building a network of nursing homes. And I thought I would create not just homes, but a real paradise, a resort for people aged 50, 60, where they would happily move. And the first step I initially took, based on my personal experience and insights, was to apply for a franchise with those companies that offer such a service to thoroughly understand how this industry works. And that's when I very quickly became quite disappointed. The average age of people in nursing homes is typically 82 years, and generally, they can unfortunately no longer live fully and independently. My idealized picture shattered. I thought it would be a cozy chalet, but in reality, it turned out to be a hospital bed where IV drips and medical care, doctors, and medications are needed. These are completely different businesses. What I wanted and what people actually need, and this made me think, do I really want to be doing this? The second mistake is being driven by greed, leading to buying short-term speculation. Just money. When you are trying to make money on volatility or on high hype of the market, speculation has short cycles, which means in the long run, you won't get a steadily growing product. The respect of consumers, partners, and your team, you'll constantly be looking for easy business options that will let you make money right here and now, without a solid foundation for the future. Another example from my experience, during COVID, since we had many offline locations, we were purchasing sanitizing products for our barbershop chain. Our warehouse manager suggested that we buy a lot more products, sanitizers, masks, and sell them to our smaller partners and associates to make a profit from it. In the end, we purchased containers, masks, sanitizers, but it seemed like the market was overflowing at the moment we got it to the warehouse, and people no longer needed them. In general, I am convinced that the main quality that will definitely lead any entrepreneur to success is the ability to see the breadth and completeness of the picture. And I notice this both in myself and in other entrepreneurs whom I admire. It pulls you out of the stressful routine, problems, and challenges to a different level every day, every hour, and every minute. I call this thought spherical. Imagine your business as a planet where everything is in motion, where both large and small tasks are being solved. A lot of hustle and questions. And only you, as the founder of this planet, have the opportunity to hop into a rocket, take off into space, and look at everything from the outside. Such a takeoff gives you an objective picture. From it, you can understand what decisions and steps need to be taken to move forward, both in crisis situations and in positive conditions. I see how entrepreneurs whose businesses are growing at a rocket speed forget about this and think that success is forever. And only those who can calmly accept their achievements understand that a new level may come that will turn their business in a different direction, will be more resilient and successful. The ability to step back and look at myself and my work from the outside is what I value the most. In any situation, whether in crisis or success, it's very important to look at yourself globally, from 360 degrees, to find the reasons in causal relationships, to predict the consequences of your actions, and to find several strategic solutions for further progress. This strategy has often saved me. We were entering a new region with a new partner and decided to use his lawyer's services for registering the trademark and the company. A year went by, we had a meeting, and the junior partner started talking to us very rudely, as if he completely owns the organization. He said that the CEO needs to be fired. Business is easy, but we don't know how to run it. He wanted his team to take on everything, and then we would reassess his share. Obviously, my first reaction was to defend my rights, to argue with him, to attack him. It was just a natural instinct that kicks in such situations. But even for an experienced entrepreneur, this was very strange. Nevertheless, I remembered the concept of spherical thinking. I needed to look at the situation from all angles, step out of the context, and think about how to act best. I suggested taking a pause. Let's consider all the arguments and find a solution, I said. After the negotiations, I decided to conduct a deep audit of what had been happening in the company during that time, and figure out why this partner felt he could talk to me so strangely. Maybe he had personal issues, psychological disorders, family problems, or other things that wouldn't go away. Or maybe he had some kind of trump card up his sleeve. A week later, it turned out that his lawyer had made a mistake, either technical or intentional. The story remained silent and registered all the trademarks in his name. In fact, that meeting was a hostile takeover. If I had gone into conflict right away, it could have had serious consequences for me. But stepping out of the situation, I realized that I needed to identify the bottleneck. Gathering lawyers and all the necessary evidence, I didn't attack. Instead, I went to the patent office to prove that it was a mistake. And to my surprise, all the documents at the ministry changed within a few days. At the next meeting, I had arguments and attached legal evidence. The external perspective aids business growth. This perspective is vital early on. It's also relevant in the early stages when you're just figuring out how to gain the knowledge and experience you need to build your company. I am convinced that there is no one right way. You can go to business school, take individual courses, buy a franchise, or become an assistant to an established entrepreneur. Any action is better than inaction. But it's also important to take a step back and look at the bigger picture of what real problem I want to solve. What will I do with this or that skill? This could be the ability to read complex economic tables, analyze your HR department, marketing, content, or other skills. The main thing is to understand how you will convert this knowledge into real experience. What will be safer and more profitable for you at a particular point? Buy a franchise and get practical education. Build everything self-learning. Go to a business coach and get theory. Or enroll in Stanford and look for an investor. What path will be optimal in terms of funding, gaining ideas, competencies, and spending time? Of course, I, without a doubt, support not excluding the theory taught in business schools from my life. Every entrepreneur must understand how their business works, how investments function, what makes up the economy, and what preventive measures exist. But bare theory won't work if you don't have at least some minimal experience. In my opinion, it's important to be as close to practice, to real relevant experience before moving on to independent actions. So my advice is to find a support system right from the start, an experienced partner, a mentor, become someone's assistant, join a brand, or buy someone else's franchise. Find yourself an older brother figure who can help you get on your feet in a new field as quickly as possible. And it's important to be open to continuous learning, to the knowledge that is shared in the world through the actions of entrepreneurs, analyzing these actions, the ability to improve them, and perfecting the technology. That's what will ensure stability. And the development of your business, as physicists say, as they often mention, a state of being static is unstable in nature. The most easily understandable and trackable is a moving object because you can regularly analyze its movement and understand where it is right now and what needs to be done for it to end up in a different place at any given moment. If an object is completely immobilized, it is unpredictable. External forces can act on it, and it's unknown where it will veer as a result. To be predictable, you need to constantly analyze the progress of the product and the development of the business. It's in this analysis that learning happens because we improve the outcome. For me, the right approach is to gain theory from books and lectures, but it's essential to filter it through the analysis of my own actions. Actually, I've been thinking for a few minutes about practical knowledge and experience. But in reality, the main skill of an entrepreneur, without which their business honestly won't take off, is diplomacy. The basic ability to communicate, build connections, sell, and inspire. Without this, you won't be able to build relationships within the team or with clients. And sometimes the first and even more important thing is the relationship with clients. If you can only strictly assign tasks, take all the credit for successes, and look down on your assistants and partners, I have some bad news for you. In the long run, a nuclear explosion awaits you, and all your efforts, time, and money will vanish. A sense of one's own greatness can ruin life for both you and your employees. So my principle is to remember that behind our great success, it's not just my merit, but also the contributions of 1,000 other people who work every day to bring our ideas to life. And the second quality that is developed only through self-discipline, not just bare theory, is the ability to keep your word. For an entrepreneur, it's important to be able to stand by what you say. Because people are following you, these people have families, concerns, and so on. They project their lives based on your word. In addition, there are partners and clients who support your business. The inability to keep your word tells them one thing: you can't be trusted, and you can't be relied on for the long haul. To sum it up, I would say that a successful entrepreneur is a person who hears himself, analyzes what is happening, understands his steps, and thoughtfully chooses his path. And of course, they have principles that they don't compromise on, even in difficult, seemingly unsolvable situations. If you like this episode, leave your questions below and subscribe to our channel. Every week, I will share what is important to me in entrepreneurship, self-development, and changing this world. Goodbye.